Good afternoon. It's May 19th, 2020, and I'd like to call this virtual Board of Education meeting to order. At this time, we'd like to welcome everyone, and we're going to do a roll call attendance. Myself, Nancy Roche, Kristin Morrissey.
Present.
Wes McCall.
Present.
Tom Cleveland.
I'm here.
Darla Light.
I'm here.
And Superintendent Jeff Bearden.
Present.
At this time, would you please stand for the pledge? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You have before you a recommended agenda. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
No recommended changes.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve as published?
So moved.
So moved by Tom.
Motion by Darla and a second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no opposition, motion passes. The first thing on our agenda is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved by Kristin.
And a second?
Second by Tom.
We have a motion by Kristin and a second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Hearing, I heard a comment on the opposed. Can I opposed again? Hearing no opposition, motion passes. Our first presentation this afternoon is a finance report with Larry Hamill.
Good evening. Tonight we'll be looking at the April 2020 financial statements. Next slide, please. As always, we have to keep goal 3 in mind. Mike. Thank you. Next page, please. As you can see, at the end of April 30th, 2020, we had $111.3 million. This time last year, we had 97.2. That shows that we build up the fund balance in those different accounts. The cash receipts were equivalent to what they should be this time of the year, and the cash disbursements are a little bit behind, or excuse me, we're a little bit less this time of the year compared to last year. That's a combination of the April receipts came in normally for the month of May. We haven't seen the April activity. That'll be in May, the March activity. We won't be, for May is when we'll see the April receipts, and we already know, for example, the TVAT is going to come in about 2/3 of what it should be. We don't know what SPLOS is yet, and we'll get that to you as soon as we find out. The expenses are down because we spent less because the school basically was shut down for the entire month. If we go to the next slide, there's a little bit more detail on the revenue. As you can see, we're at 90.27% collection rate. This time last year, we're only at 88.29. Just to give you a comparison, the first line ad valorem tax, we're at 98.99. This time last year, we're at 98.14. As you can see, intangible tax, we've collected more than 100% that we had put the budget in there. This time last year, we're at 55.8%. And just another indicator, the TVAT, we're at 94.5, and this time last year, we're at 77.63. Next page, please. These are expenditures for the month of April. As you can see, we have 83.3% spend rate. This time last year, we're at 83.34% spend rate. Next slide, please. These are the ending cash balances for the different debt service cash accounts. This time last year, we were at 25 million for debt service, only 518,000 for SPLOS 5. We were at 11.5 for the treasury market, though. In total, we were only 37.3 last year, and we're at 59 now. Next slide, please. The investment summary, as you can see, year to date through April, this includes the bond sales under the third column, Fund 306 of 187 million. Currently, we have $301 million in investments. A large percentage of that's in the LGIP fund with the state of Georgia. This time last year, we were at 252. And if you'll notice, the balance in the 306 fund was 26 million, and we pulled out 16.9. That 16.9 million represents bills we had to pay for capital projects. That's way ahead of schedule right now. Matt can chime in a little bit to that, but the projects we have are in overdrive because the number of people that are extra on some of the work sites compared to what's going on with the economy right now. Next slide, please. So here's the good news. For the month of April, we brought in $3.3 million for March collections. That's on par where it was last year. And if you look at the total average down there at 3.3, this time last year we were only at 3.26. We're about $70,000 a month ahead of schedule for last year on the average. If you look at the last 12 months compared to that 3.26 average, we're almost 193,000 above average collections. And just in the last 12 months, we're up $123,000 over the average lifetime. So SPLOST has been good up to this point. What is it going to look like for the month of May for April collections? I don't know yet. Usually they're late in the month. It's the 19th. I would expect us not to get anything probably until Monday or Tuesday of next week. If we do get it earlier, I can send that information out. Next slide, please. One thing you're going to notice on the high school, middle school, and elementaries is the receipts and disbursements are way, way, way low. And that's because the schools basically have been closed. What has been happening, though, is because there was a lot of money collected for the second quarter for like trips and prom and stuff like that, a lot of that had to be reimbursed. So you'll notice that the expenditures are higher than the receivables for that month. This time last year, the elementary schools had about the exact same amount of money in their accounts. Next slide, please. Here again, we're going to see that both for the middle school and high schools, the receipts are lower dramatically, and there's more expenses going out. The middle schools this time last year had about 1.74 million, and the high schools had a little about 100,000 more than they do now. Next slide, please. And so in total, there's about $10.7 million at the school levels. This time last year was about 11 million, and the balance breakdown is about the same as it was last time. And that's the financial statements for April 2020. Are there any questions?
I don't hear any. If there's no questions, I appreciate your time.
No problem.
Thanks so much, Larry.
Okay, take care.
You too.
Thanks, Larry.
Next on our agenda is Beth Hebert and Michelle Dugan, and they will present the Forsyth Teacher Academy and the Cohort 1 graduates.
Okay, this is Beth Hebert. Thank you very much for having me and Michelle here today to talk to you about all of the exciting things that are happening in our academy, and also allowing us to recognize and celebrate the graduates of our first cohort for our academy. Next slide. So just to remind you, we have 3 programs that come under the Forsyth Teacher Academy. And the first one there you'll see is the induction and mentoring. And this is the work that we do with all of our new teachers through their first 3 years as teachers with us. The endorsements there in the middle, we've started the endorsements this year, and those are the 2 that we have offered for this past school year. And then, of course, the Georgia TAP program, our alternative route to teacher certification. And we'll talk about what we've done so far and then where we're going with that program as well. Next slide. So all of the work we do in the academy is aligned with our vision and our mission and our learner profile, of course. And the academy also supports personalized learning, SEL, our literacy initiative, and community partnerships, which is a focus of your governance team, your goal too for your governance team. Next slide. And you may remember that when we talked to you last year, we have an advisory board that we meet with 3 or 4 times a year. It has representation from all of our departments here at the district level. We have a community member on it, a couple of retired administrators, one Sharon Erickson, who's had extensive work in the TAP program, and then Brenda Schultz, who's a university professor. So a lot of input from a lot of people, and I really do believe that part of our success. I think we can contribute our success to just the collaboration that we have with all of these people and across all of our departments. We've worked really closely with T&L and student support and technology to do the kind of things that we've been able to offer our teachers. Next slide, Michelle.
Hi, so the first program that we wanted to share with you tonight is our Induction and Mentoring program. That supports teachers through their first 3 years of their career, and we also support teachers who may be experienced but are coming to Forsyth and are new to their role or to our system. So this is a picture of the Forsyth County Schools Job Fair this year, where we had a presence for induction and mentoring for new teachers to ask questions. Next slide. We do follow the 3-year Georgia Department of Education statewide induction model. So all of our new educators receive supports through their first 3 years, and those supports are personalized both for their content and also for strategies that they may need to work on. We've shared our best practices as a system with the state and also with administrators locally. We're also collaborating with our metro area partners in order to strengthen and share out about our induction plan. One of the ways that we support our induction leaders and mentors is through our induction retreats. So the retreats occur 3 times a year, and they serve as an opportunity for our leaders to collaborate, to reflect, and to plan. And one of the ways that we know our program is working is data reflections, surveys, and just looking at our retention. I believe in the state of Georgia right now, they say that within the first 5 years, we only have 44% of new educators remaining. And just looking at local data for folks who are coming to us, whether they're new or veteran, we've got that 94.6% retention rate for new certified hires from 2018, 2019, and we're very proud of that. We hope to continue to improve our supports and ensure that we retain every quality educator in Forsyth. One of the best days of the year that many of you all attend is our district welcome and overview. So we've collaborated with the communications department to provide this, exciting welcoming experience and get them into our Forsyth County Schools family. We also host 2 days of NEO, which is our new educator orientation, to help acclimate new employees to their roles within our system.
So our endorsements, this is the first year that we have offered endorsements under the Forsyth Teacher Academy. We have had district leaders teach these endorsement classes, but they've always taught it as a part of a different program for some other agency. And so what was really exciting about having our own endorsement classes is that not only do we have our own instructors here in Forsyth, but we also were able to embed the Forsyth way into the way that we teach our classes and align it more closely with our vision and our mission. So very excited this year to bring these 2 endorsements into our program. Next. So the ESOL program, and I really can't say enough good things about Michelle Slayton and Jason Nail, who has really, they've just been instrumental in helping us launch these endorsements. And you'll see Michelle's the lead of the ESOL endorsement. We have 15 teachers representing 10 different schools this year who have completed their ESOL endorsement. And this endorsement is offered as a hybrid format where they take some online classes and some face-to-face classes. And it's comprised of 2 courses and a clinical experience where they go out and observe and work with other teachers. And these classes usually run from August to April in a school year. So we have 15 teachers who have completed this cohort for the endorsement. And we have 36 applicants for who have applied for the next year's cohort. Next. So the online teaching endorsement, Jason Nail has headed that up. We had 15 teachers enrolled the first year, and they represented 21 schools. And I have to believe that it was extremely important this spring to have these 50 people in our school who were well versed in the best practices of online teaching and learning. And I was so grateful that we were able to launch this and have it. It just was so timely to have this up and running while we were dealing with what we were dealing with this spring. So we were excited about having that. The online teaching endorsement is comprised of 3 courses that are taken over a period. Each course lasts about 3 months, and their instruction is completely virtual. They model their instruction, of course. It works out really well, being the online teaching endorsement. And then for the 2021 school year, we have 125 teachers who've applied for the class for next year. So we are really working closely with Jason, trying to figure out a way to develop capacity to increase our capacity so that we can have all of these teachers in the classes. We just know how important it is at this time to get as many teachers endorsed with this endorsement so that they can be ready to go if and when we go back to online teaching. And so the next steps for our endorsements, what we plan to do is add 2 more during this next school year. And it'll take us the majority of the school year just to design the curriculum and set up the courses and then have it approved by the PSC. But we will work on that this year. We chose the teacher support and coaching endorsement because we thought it met the district's need for instructional coaches. We've really moved in that direction. And then also to strengthen our mentoring program for in our induction program, all of the mentors that we have there. It aligns closely with Teaching and Learning's framework for instructional coaching and offers a collaborative support for teachers. So our plan is to first offer this endorsement to all instructional coaches and then to our school mentors and our teacher leaders. And then the K-5 math endorsement, that was really a response to a need in elementary schools. When we survey elementary teachers, we typically hear that math is an area where they're looking for more professional learning or better math strategies. And so we know that having more teachers at the elementary level with a math endorsement would probably strengthen our math program overall, K-12. So we're excited to be able to work on that program and hopefully have it ready to go next year. And our Georgia TAP program, that TAP stands for Teacher Academy of Preparation and Pedagogy, and we are an approved provider for that program for the alternative certification. We use this program to fill our hard-to-fill critical need positions, primarily math, science, special ed, and some CTAE classes. And again, same thing with endorsements. One of the advantages is that we can offer this in-house. We can really gear the classes to teach the Forsyth way and to align with the things that are important to us. We started the program in 2018. We were first approved, had our first cohort start then. It typically takes about 2 years, maybe a little less, but we allow 2 years for our candidates to run through the cohort. This is a picture of cohort 2. They started this past school year. They've just completed their first year of teaching. And I'll have to say, I sat in on a couple of their classes, and this has been a really dynamic cohort, very collaborative. We've already heard of some great things that they're doing with students. So we look forward to their graduation and certification celebration next year. They have 1 more year to complete. Cohort 1 has completed all of their requirements this year, and they're ready to be awarded their teaching certificates. We're really excited about that. And Michelle is going to share some information about the cohorts in general, and then some more specific information about our teacher graduates who we're celebrating right now for having completed the program.
Next slide. Yeah, perfect. So we are so proud of all of our candidates. Right now we have 2 cohorts. The Georgia TAP program was really designed to remove barriers from folks wanting to get into classrooms. It just provides a more equitable opportunity for those who want to become educators. They receive pay as a teacher while they are concurrently earning their certificate. We're proud that our program is one of the more affordable ones in the state, and it's also such a fantastic experience to get people coming from industry who have that know-how and have that knowledge and that practical recent work experience and share it with our students. So this is a timeline of what it might look like for somebody who is going through the Forsyth Teacher Academy, and their work and key assessments are supported throughout their time in the academy. Next slide. I also wanted to share some photos, since we're not live tonight in person, of what it looked like this past year. This truly is a community approach to educating teachers. We are so lucky that in our system we have partners, like not only our schools, of course, but also community members. So we have guest speakers. The top left is Miss Terry North did a session on the nature and needs of a middle grades learner. And I can't imagine anybody who understands a middle grades mind more than Terry North. And also top right is an example of Miss Amanda Thrower, who did a workshop on deconstructing standards and aligning formative and summative assessments. So we really have been very fortunate. We did a school safety tour. Our folks have a really good working understanding of what it is to be a teacher, and also they know how all of our departments are interconnected. Once they complete the program, our candidates also have at least 36 hours that they've observed other educators and leaders at multiple levels and diverse settings. So for cohorts 1 and 2, I just want to give you an overview of who all is in our program. We do have 19 females and 9 males in our program. We have 3 each representing science and math. Those are secondary fields. And CTAE, right now we have 7, and special education is by far our largest. And we're really proud of that. One of the strengths of this program is identifying opportunities for current employees. For example, paraprofessionals who may already hold bachelor's degrees and may already be working in, say, an autism classroom, and just connect their dreams to becoming a teacher and providing them that pathway to do so. Next slide. So you may have heard it takes a village to raise a child, and I have said for the past couple of years it takes a few villages to raise educators. Here's just a little peek at who our village is and what they all represent. I couldn't list everybody here, but I would say every single department within our school community, our university and local partners, and also businesses have been integral to the success of these programs. For cohorts 1 and 2, these are the elementary, middle, and high schools that have candidates, either 1 or more at their schools. And we currently have 6 at the elementary level, 7 at the middle school level, and 15 candidates at the high school level. So, I'm really excited to share with you our first inaugural cohort's graduation. It's really special to me, one, because they're a phenomenal, hardworking, inspiring group of educators, but also because this is the route I took to become an educator. I went through a Georgia TAP program and completed in this way, so I feel very honored and thankful to give them the opportunity and be a support and watch them be successful as well. A couple things I want you to know about this cohort. We're proud of our 80% retention rate from program start to now. It is a smaller cohort. We're actually welcoming back a participant who took a year off to this next cohort. They have a 100% professional rating on 1 or more of their GACE exams. 100% of them are rated as a 3 or a 4 in their TAPS ratings. They've met all of our dispositions and competencies. And one thing I really want to celebrate is every single member of this cohort passed EdTPA on the very first attempt, and that's a rare thing to get to say in a program, and we want to honor them. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you to the inaugural cohort of the Forsyth Teacher Academy. Eric Arnold, AP Computer Science teacher at Denmark High School. Mr. Arnold has a Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering from Georgia Tech. He's currently pursuing his master's in analytics from Georgia Tech. In 2019 of November, he was named the Teacher of the Month at Denmark, and the College Board has awarded his program with the AP Computer Science Female Diversity Award. He was also named Georgia's FBLA New Advisor of the Year. Mr. Arnold has earned his certificate in computer science, mathematics, and technology, and next year he'll continue as a computer science teacher at Denmark High School. This is Miss Gina Calvert, who is a special education skills-based autism teacher at Denmark High. She has a bachelor's in business administration from Loyola Marymount University, and she served as a substitute and a paraprofessional at various schools throughout Forsyth. Prior to her position at Denmark, she also worked at Liberty Middle and at iFocus, where she became a registered behavior technician. She's earned her certificate in the areas of special education adapted curriculum, special ed math, science, reading, English, and social studies. And next year, she'll continue in her role as a special education teacher at Denmark. Ms. Rachel Flippen is a special education teacher at Piney Grove Middle School. She has a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from UNC Wilmington, and her master's degree is in social work from UNC Chapel Hill. She actually began her career with us in 2014 as a paraprofessional. Most recently, in February 2020, she received the Making a Difference recommendation from the Forsyth County School Special Education Department. So she has earned her certificate in special education adapted curriculum, special education math, science, reading, English, and social studies, and she will continue on in her position at Piney Grove next year. Ms. Carol Fort is a special ed math teacher at Lakeside Middle School. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism from Utica College at Syracuse University. She began her career in Forsyth back in 2005. She served as a paraprofessional at Mashburn Elementary, and she led their after-school program. In winter of this year, she was also named Forsyth County Schools Special Education Staff Teacher of the Month, and she has earned her teaching certificate in middle grades math and special education, and she will remain in her special ed teaching position at Lakeside next year. Ms. Casey Gels is a special ed teacher at Cumming Elementary. She earned her bachelor's degree from Old Dominion University. Prior to coming to Forsyth, Ms. Gels actually taught pre-K for 6 years. In 2017, she joined the Custodial family as a parapro. She was Instructional Aide of the Month, and she is earning her certificate in General Special Education and Special Education Math, Science, Reading, English, and Social Studies. And next year, she will be an IRR teacher at Cumming Elementary. Ms. Leslie Hohenberger is currently a special ed teacher at Sawney Elementary. She has a Bachelor's of Arts in History at the Catholic University of America, and she started her career also as a substitute and paraprofessional. She serves on her school's leadership team and is the co-sponsor of the Sawney Leadership Society. She has earned her certificate in special ed adapted curriculum and special education reading, English, and social studies, and she will also be at Sawney next year. Ms. Jessica Moon is a mathematics teacher at Riverwatch Middle School. She earned her bachelor's degree in mathematics and statistics from UNG, and she is also a very proud graduate of Forsyth County Schools. She has been honored as the Forsyth County Schools Special Education Teacher of the Month, and she coaches cheerleading and is also a club sponsor. She's earned her degree in mathematics and special education, and she will continue in her role next year at Riverwatch Middle. This is Ms. Susan Sellers, who is a wonderful special education teacher at Sharon Elementary. She has her Bachelor of Arts from the University of Georgia. She's had 17 years of experience in education, and 14 of those have been in Forsyth County Schools. She served as a paraprofessional at Sharon Elementary before becoming a special education teacher. She has earned her certificate in special education adapted curriculum, special ed math, science, reading, English, and social studies. And next year, she will continue in her role at Sharon Elementary. This is Miss Cindy Smith. She is a science teacher at Piney Grove Middle School. I gotta buckle up for this one. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Natural Science, a master's degree in instructional technology, and a specialist degree in instructional technology. She came to Forsyth 13 years ago as a paraprofessional at Shiloh Point, and she went on to become the media specialist at that same school before moving to her current position. She's a member of her school's leadership team, and this year we were so excited she was named the Georgia High School Science Teacher of Promise. She has earned her certificate in science, and she also holds certificates in fields of media specialist and instructional technology, and she will continue her role at Piney Grove Middle next year. This is Miss Jennifer Chong, who is a special education teacher at West Forsyth High School. She earned her bachelor's degree in child development and family relations from Western Carolina University, and she also has a master's in social work from Florida International University. Ms. Chong teaches a combination of core subjects and social skills. She has earned her certificate in general and adapted special ed, as well as special education math, science, reading, English, and social studies. And next year, she will continue in her role at West Forsyth High School. Miss Dawn Whitlow is a special ed teacher at Matt Elementary. She has a Bachelor of Arts in Marketing from Freed-Hardeman University, and she's worked for Forsyth County Schools since 2010 when she joined the staff of Whitlow Elementary. In January 2017, she joined the autism team at the Hill Center and then later iFocus. She earned her certificate in general special ed and special education reading, English, and social studies, and she will continue her role as a skills-based autism teacher next year at Matt Elementary. And last but not least, Ms. Jamie Wilbanks is a marketing teacher at West Forsyth High School. She earned her Bachelor of Sports Management and Science and Marketing from Kennesaw State University. Prior to coming to Forsyth, she taught pre-K for 5 years and had various roles in the marketing field. In addition to sponsoring CTAE organizations, she's also on her school's leadership committee as the CTAE department chair. She has earned her certificate in marketing and next year will continue in that role at West Forsyth High School. I wanted to share really quickly this quote that's really important to me. It says, "Every student deserves a great teacher, not by chance, but by design." And when we talk about quality learning and superior performance for all, our programs in the academies, and including Forsyth Teacher Academy's Georgia TAP program, are just some of the ways that we ensure our children have access to the very best teachers to ensure they get what they need and that they have opportunities to learn and grow.
Okay, wow, isn't that exciting? Just, I'm sure you can see how we have just some outstanding teachers graduating from this program. And as Michelle was reading off all of their degrees and then their certifications, I was thinking, you know, almost all, I think, have more than one they're coming out of this program with more than one certification. I really want to commend this group. You know, they were our first, and anytime you're the first, you have to go through some growing pains, and they did a little of that with us. As we learned from them and took their feedback and have even a better program for the second cohort. So I'm very, very proud of them and thankful that that they're part of the Forsyth family. I wanted to tell you here real quick, cohort 3 that'll start this next year. You can see that we have 13 candidates here. Maybe have room for 1 or 2 more if we have that need. But this is what our cohort is going to look like for next year, and we're looking forward to growing some exceptional teachers. Next. Thanks for letting us share with you. Do you have any questions?
I think we
This is
saw
really amazing.
everybody applaud.
Are there any more questions? I heard Wes and Tom a little bit. They were breaking up on my end. I'm not sure. I just like to see, you were saying by design in that quote. I really want to commend you for having the foresight, especially with the special ed teachers, that because there's such a need out there. I can see us that even being recruiting for Forsyth, saying, okay, if we go to Forsyth, we can actually get into this program possibly, and you know, and just become a teacher in Forsyth. I mean, it's great what you've done. It really is.
That was one of those unintended things that happen when we had so many of those parapros step up and want to be teachers. So you're right. We're really excited about that.
Exactly. Any further questions?
I don't have any questions. Just a comment, if I may. I'm just so proud of our teacher academy. You know, Cindy and Beth really came up with this idea a few years ago about how we could, you know, grow our own in a more effective manner. And of course, Michelle has been part of the HR team now for a couple of years as well. And Beth and Michelle have done just a tremendous job of facilitating and leading this effort. And it's been incredibly successful. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of organization and a big time commitment by the people who participate. But our students are benefiting. Our principals are really happy because what we are doing is we're producing very quality educators who are very prepared to do the work. So I'm really proud of this program. Congratulations, Beth, Michelle, and thank you for all you're doing. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Cindy as well, who again approached me about this idea a few years ago. And is really serving us well and will continue to do so in the future.
Thank you
for your support.
Any other questions?
Congratulations to the graduates.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Beth and Michelle.
Thank y'all.
Next on our agenda is Todd Shirley and Tim Monroe, and they will be presenting the 2020-21 Code of Conduct for approval.
Hi guys, hopefully you guys can hear me, can you?
Yes, I can hear you, Todd.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so as every year with the Code of Conduct, Tim does an outstanding job with it, and Jennifer, we really appreciate all the help she and her department give us on the code. Early in November, Tim usually sends an email out to the principals and the assistant principals to let them know to begin gathering from their LSCs suggestions on the Code of Conduct, begin discussing that as an admin team, and then we receive their suggestions, run those through legal, run those through a couple of other avenues, and then make decisions on the Code of Conduct. And what you see is the final version from this past year. I'm going to just touch on the pages that you have highlighted yellow on. That's all I'll do. So the first page is only just editorial changes. The very next page that is highlighted down at the very bottom, confidential and anonymous reporting. We are switching this year from our TipSoft line that we have had for many, many years to another company called P3 Campus. P3 Campus is a much more robust system. It offers a very simple reporting app for students as well as staff members, and that has to be noted in the Code of Conduct, so that change was made on that page. If you slide over a couple more pages, under Section 1, DM1 and other drugs, we have made a reasonably extensive change in that. Sometimes people push us on what actually falls underneath the drug section, and we have, and Tim can speak up a little bit, but we've worked with our legal team and with the state to verify and spell out a number of areas where students obviously can get into trouble with drugs, and those are spelled out in the 15 sections. Hello? I'm sorry. Oh, those are spelled out in those 15 sections. A question did come up a little bit earlier about the coverage for vaping devices and how we would deal with vaping devices. As a reminder, if the vaping device only contains nicotine or a juice, that is not a drug-related paraphernalia. It is not handled under this section. It is handled as a tobacco offense. We have a 3 strikes and you're out policy for each of our grade levels, middle school and high school. But as a reminder, after the 2nd strike, we also offer a recovery class out of the safety department, where they can come to our department, and we will do a session with them, and that'll eliminate one of their offenses. The next section would be under number 24. We have made some changes in the dress and grooming code, and those are reflected under Section D. Section D was basically rewritten. We had Jennifer's help rewriting Section D and Section F, head coverings and garments that are see-through, just to clarify a little bit for dress code. We know that dress code has been very difficult over the years, and I think probably the biggest challenge that our school has with dress code is really monitoring that. With so many students on campus, it's a very difficult thing to do, but we did tighten up that dress code just a little bit. Our next section would be, under violence against a teacher, administrator, bus driver, or any other school employee. Tim did add the statement in there, or intentional physical attack against a teacher with intent to cause bodily harm. And in addition to that, we also added any other school system employee. We did not want anyone to feel like, you know, that an attack on a bus driver or a custodian or a secretary, anybody else, you know, everybody needs to be covered under that if they are a school system employee, and that was added in that section. The next section is under FCS legal non-discrimination notice, and all that is an editing change. FCS is committed to diversity, equity, inclusion for all. Just added that one additional statement. And that covers all the changes we made. You guys heard my dog did not object to anything in the background, but that's he was a surprise visitor in the living room at the time. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those questions for you.
Do we have a recommendation to put a motion on the table?
Recommend
Yes,
approval.
with recommendation.
We have a motion. Do we have a motion? I didn't hear a
So
first.
moved by Tom.
Okay. Second?
Second for discussion? By
Yes, we
Kristin?
have a motion by Tom and a second by Kristin. Now for discussion, sorry.
Okay, I just have one question. Todd, and just because I wasn't familiar with P3 campus reporting, and I know space is very tight in this document, would it be worth explaining or labeling what P3 campus reporting is, just to define it somewhere in the document?
Well, I will say this. It may not really be needed here, because one thing that we've done, we're working with Jennifer's department again on a campaign to get that information out, and to we've already sent proofs in to one of our local sign companies to have. I think we're going to end up probably 400 or 500 signs to dispense around the district, and Jennifer's going to put it on social media. We will have tutorials that the schools can watch and that the schools can show to their students. So all of that stuff is going to be out there and available to them. I don't know that we would really need to. I mean, we could add that to the code of conduct, but with all the other advertising we're going to do, I think we're going to be okay.
Okay. I thought when I first read it, I was like, I didn't understand what it was, but if it's going to be advertised, then I guess we'll be good.
Yes, we will.
Thank you.
Are there any
You're
other
welcome.
questions? If there's no more questions, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no opposition, motion passes. Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Thank you, Todd.
Next on our agenda is points of information. Dr. Bearden?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Number one, just want to remind everybody, and please help spread the word in our community. We're doing the 20 honks for our class of 20 this Friday at 3 p.m. And we just really hope all of our community will participate to honor Forsyth County Schools class of 20. Also wanted to announce our survey went live yesterday on how we did with virtual learning the last 9 weeks. And also there's one question about the comfort level of our parents with sending students back to school in August. We did make a little adjustment to the survey today. We had heard from some of our stakeholders that they wanted an opportunity to make some additional comments. And so that has been added, and we appreciate that. We want the feedback from our students, from our staff, from our parents, because our goal is if we do have to learn for an extended period of time, again, in the future, in a virtual environment, we want to make sure we're doing that as well as possible. I feel really good about what we did fourth quarter, but there's always an opportunity to learn and grow. We want to make sure we give our stakeholders an opportunity to give us feedback. So that is out there now. It'll be available through the end of this month, and then we'll take that information, work with our teaching and learning department as we make plans for the future. So those were the 2 items I wanted to announce tonight.
Okay, any other further questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion to go into executive session for personnel per our affidavit?
So moved by Tom.
Second by Darla.
We have a motion by Tom and a second by Darla. All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no opposition, motion passes. Got back to our regular meeting. We will do a simple roll call attendance. Myself, Nancy. We'll come back, see if she comes in. Wes McCall,
Present.
Tom Cleveland,
I'm here.
Darla Light,
I'm here.
Superintendent Jeff Bearden,
Present.
and Kristin, are you here?
I am here.
Okay. Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
So moved.
We have a motion by
Second.
Kristin and a second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no opposition, motion passes. Do we have a motion to approve personnel A 1 through 21, B 1 through 8, and C 1 to 7?
So moved by Tom.
Second by Kristin.
We have a motion by Tom and a second by Kristin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Tom, did I heard an opposition? It could be this,
Nope.
we're breaking up real bad is the problem, is that's what.
It was late approval. Just
Okay.
go slower, maybe.
Okay. Okay, possibly. Okay, hearing no opposition, motion passes. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Darla and a second by Kristin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Opposed?
guys. Hopefully, June we'll be back in person.
It would be better, I think.
Yes, that'll be our goal, to be back in person by June.
Yes,
Sounds
please.
good. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Y'all too.